Last session? Let's do it. Our last session, I think I can, I know I can, from Thomas the Tank Engine, because I am still a child at heart. Just ask anyone who knows me. Our last segment was saved for last on purpose, because I think that no matter how many skills we learn, most leaders feel like an imposter at least some of the time. Now, earlier today, everyone said they didn't feel that way. And if you genuinely don't, that's great. But this is at least something for you if and when you do. If at any point you're doing your job, you're doing the best you can, you're loving your people, you're trying to serve them, and it seems like nothing is going right, and that little voice in the back of your head says you're not cut out for this, I hope that this session will convince you that at minimum you can be, and probably you are. The idea behind today's session can be captured in today's big idea. Regardless of what you may or may not yet know, those who love their teams have a great foundation for leading well. By a show of hands, how many of you want to be a good leader? Putting that hand down, using your other hand, by show of hands, how many of you care about your people? Okay. I think that's every hand. It is my opinion, not that that's the end, but that if you have those two things, the foundation is laid. And at this point, it's all strategy. Let's talk about why I believe that. All the things we've talked about today are very important. How to communicate is important. Our attitude is important. Our ownership is important. All these things are very important. But quite frankly, if you don't care about your people, and you don't really care if you're a good leader, none of those things are going to be important to you. There'll be no motivation. There'll be no desire to take a class, to improve, to grow. Because quite frankly, why waste the time? You don't care about your people. But if you do, that is the foundation. Our quote of the day by Miss Oprah Winfrey herself is, let's have Juliet.
Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe.
I want you to, don't fall asleep on me. I know it's late. Don't fall asleep. For just a second, close your eyes. And envision, what does it look like to be the highest version of yourself, specifically in leadership? How do you sound? What do you do? How do your people feel? Dare I ask, what is your legacy? Key takeaway number one, loving people is the key to leadership. If you haven't already noticed, the SML logo is two hands cupping a light bulb with a heart in the middle of that light bulb. Our vision at SML is that when we care for people, ideas are fostered in the context of love. That might seem gushy, that might seem mushy, that might seem like it has no place in corporate America. But quite frankly, I believe two things very strongly about humanity. Number one, we all want to be loved, and number two, we are all inherently valuable. I think we can bring those things back to corporate America. We might just find that we're changing people's lives for the better. Again, I will emphasize we're not talking about anything inappropriate here. We're talking about an authentic care. I define love as wanting what's best for another human being. Who can tell if your boss actually cares about you or just tells you what they want, what you want to hear? We can tell if it's a platitude, can't we? We're human beings. We know. We know when somebody's telling us what they think we want to hear or what we think they want to hear or something. And we also know when someone actually cares about us. I won't ask you to raise your hand, mainly because I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but how many of you might have a boss right now that pretends to care, but you know that they really don't? I'm not talking about manufacturing something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about, make them think you care so that they'll do more. In fact, I'm talking about the opposite. I'm saying, stop asking, what can my team do for me, and ask, what can I do for my team? I often have said, we need to stop asking what I can get from my team and start asking what I can get for my team. Be the leader that we wish we had. In our previous section, or in a previous section, not the previous section, but in a previous section, we asked, what's one thing that you need to be a leader? What was it? Followers. What is more compelling than someone that actually cares about us? I don't know about you, but I don't really like to follow people that don't care. Now, I will admit that there is this weird thing happening in social media where we really think that people care about us that don't even know we exist. I'm not certain how that's happening, but I'm talking about in day-to-day life, right? Like someone that really cares, it's like, hey man, that was great. One of the most powerful things that I have ever experienced is when I left one company, when I started SML, and one of my employees said that they were willing to take a pay cut to come continue working with me. Like, that was crazy to me. But I think it spoke to the leadership. I genuinely cared about them. They knew that, and they wanted to keep working in that environment, and they didn't want to deal with whatever was coming next. It's not about me, but I hope that's like, wow, okay, like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't impact you, but when I found that out, or when I heard that they were wanting to come work for me, and I was like, all right, well, I can't meet your salary, a startup, like, what do you want from me? And they were like, that's fine, I just want to keep working for you. Dang, okay, that's amazing. People will rarely follow you if they don't think that you care about them. This is not in your book, but Michelle Obama said this. Let's ask for Richie, before you leave, I know you got to take off pretty quick here. Let's have you read this for us.
Success isn't about how much money you make. It's about the difference you make in people's lives.
So at the end of our lives, not to be morbid, at the end of our lives, we will be remembered for the possessions we had because people will fight over them. And if we have a lot of debt, people will fight over who has to take care of that debt. And if we have a lot of money, people will fight over who gets the money. But ultimately, what will never get mentioned at our funerals is the money. That will all get mentioned behind closed doors in lawyer offices. What will get mentioned is how we made people feel. How we impacted people's lives. My great uncle passed away about a month and a half ago. He lived out in Easley. And I was one of the only part of the family that actually got to go to the funeral because not a lot of family live on this side of the U.S. I knew that my uncle had done a lot in his life, but he was a very humble man. He had worked in Christian education all of his life. He worked for little tiny church schools and things like that, and so you don't get a lot of prestige. You definitely don't get any money. And he just kind of done the best he could. I did not learn until his funeral how many hundreds of thousands of lives he touched. That he had 3 doctorates. That he'd written books. And that the people that he still had in his community were willing to do just about anything to help with my aunt's difficulty, burial, transition, all that stuff. They had no money. They still don't have any money. Some stuff that my family's got to work out with them to try to help because now they don't have that income because he was still teaching it. 85 or whatever he was still teaching. Didn't have any money. Didn't have anything in terms of success. When I moved here, he had come to my grandmother's 80th birthday party. This was last May. In fact, it was a year and 2 days ago. He came to my grandma's birthday party, and I happened to park next to his car, and I saw his tires, and I couldn't believe they still had air in them. Remember that whole flat tire can't get anywhere if it's not full? I mean, you could see the bands in some places on those tires. I was like, this is not safe, Uncle Ed. And so I felt compelled in that moment to get him a new set of tires, and I called discount and I said, hey, we're bringing a car in immediately. I need you, here's the credit card. I need you to put tires on this car. Had no idea when I did that. Didn't know for a week. That's the first pair of new tires he had put on a car in his entire life. But you never would have known it at his funeral. The lives that he changed, the impact that he made, the legacy that he left had nothing to do with the money he had or the possessions that he didn't have. My friends, leadership doesn't require a fancy title, a big office, a large company, a great paycheck, or even necessarily a large team. Leadership operates off of the ripple effect. You positively impact the lives of those in your circle of influence, and you leave them an example and a legacy, and they get to impact the next lives, who gets to impact the next lives, who gets to impact the next lives. There's a saying that I like very much, and that is, you are not a leader until you have produced another leader who is capable of producing yet another leader. The idea of multi-generational leadership that says, hey, it's not about how much authority I have, it's not about how much money I have, it's about how much I'm elevating, empowering, equipping, engaging other people. Michelle Obama says it's about the difference you make in people's lives. I think that people often look at positions of leadership as their ticket to do more, be more, make more, whatever. And as we read in a previous quote, it's about helping other people do more, be more, make more. And that is what true leadership really looks like. So key takeaway number 2 is that loving your team, which is the foundation, will empower you to lead from a place of empathy and authentic consideration. When we love our people, we're going to care about them, we're going to empathize with them, we're going to genuinely consider them. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want a leader that genuinely cares about them? Who doesn't want a leader that empathizes with them? Who doesn't want a leader that is truly trying to put themselves in their shoes? Now, I'm not saying that there's no skills that are associated. What I'm saying is that the love is going to motivate us. And so we want to be the best, not because of what it makes us, but because of what it empowers us to make them. Because of how it helps them grow as individuals. Now, I want to do something that is a little weird. This is the only activity that I will make optional because it may be uncomfortable. I will, however, invite you to embrace that discomfort. That's the right word, discomfort. I will invite you to embrace that discomfort in order to experience this. If you choose to opt out, I will respect your decision. Step 1 is find a partner. Again, I would recommend it's a partner that you don't particularly know, but any partner you would like. Once you have found a partner, go ahead and stand with that partner. You're like, but I don't know if I want to do this yet. I know. Stand with the partner, that part's not uncomfortable. I mean, unless Trey really does smell that bad. No, I'm joking, Trey. I got James. James is the only one that laughed at that, but he laughed kind of hard, so I'm going to take that as a win. Ah, there we go. Okay. Everyone's got a partner? Everyone got a partner? You're going to need to be standing for this. No matter what, you're going to have to stand eventually. All right.
Come on, Hanley.
The next thing that you're going to do, this is where it's going to be weird. So again, if you want to opt out, just raise your hand so that your partner can find somebody else. But now you got to look at your partner in the eyes and go, yes, I choose not you. So here's the thing. Don't start until I say go, because the time is very important on this, all right? But here's what we're going to do. We are going to hug each other. I know. It's a real hug. What I don't want to see, who's willing to come be my partner real quick? I need to show somebody something. No one? No one? Your turn.
Yeah, I'll stink. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Come on, real quick. Thank you. So I do this exercise in my keynote as well. I had somebody come up to the stage and spin me around one time. It was hilarious. Okay, so here's what I do not want to see. All right, here's what I don't want to see. That's not a hug. All right, that's not a hug. Here's also what I don't want to see.
That's the hug of my family.
I know it's awkward, but I'm talking an actual embrace. We're talking here. Okay? I'm not talking about getting all warm and squiggly, but an actual embrace. And we're going to hold that embrace for a full 30 seconds. A full 30 seconds. I promise you there's a reason for this. Okay? So, partner up. If you don't have a partner, let me know. Or if you say, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I'll tell you this. I did this just like a week and a half ago, and there was someone who hated hugs, and she did this anyway. She said she put herself out of her comfort zone. She did it, and afterwards she said she hated every second of it, but she loved every second of it too. And I'll tell you why in just a second. So, everyone got your partner?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anyone that does not have a partner because everyone's good? Everyone's good? Does anyone not have a partner that needs one? Okay. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Bring it in, brother.
Real hug. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Partner? Okay. He doesn't have one. Hold it.
You know, just remember that today is tomorrow's yesterday. All right. It's fine. The world's still going to be.
5,
You're not
4, 3, 2, 1, and you may let go. Give yourself a hand, first of all. Why in the world would I have everyone hug? I love it. That's exactly right. Science says that hug just boosted your oxytocin and affected the internal opioid system, creating a bond and bringing joy. Now here's what I noticed. Before I told you that, did anybody here notice how many giggles there were? He's still red in the face. He's been laughing so much.
We were here talking about puppies and stuff.
That's good. That's good.
Comforting him.
Now here's the deal. You may or may not know what the science says. You may or may not even believe me. But I think if you will just be genuine and reflect, you actually feel a little bit lighter right now. You feel a little bit happier. It's weird because scientifically the act of embrace alters your brain chemistry. The synaptic connections of your brain were just changed in the process of a mere 30-second hug. The science says anything more than 20 seconds, I say 30 because the first 3 seconds are you trying to figure out how you're going to hug. Okay? So I keep you for 30. But you may or may not have even known the person you just hugged. You have just forever changed their brain chemistry. And their day is better, scientifically speaking, because of 30 seconds of time together. I'll keep talking about this in a second. For now, give yourselves another hand and find your seat. Richie wants chocolates. Now, what I am not suggesting is that your best path of action is to go back to the office and give all of your people hugs. Consent is real, guys. But if 30 seconds with someone you've never met can make an impact, imagine what a culture and a pattern of authentic care can do for your team. Imagine what would happen if your team just felt cared for. And maybe that does include in a hug at the right time, because someone is going through a tough time. Or because that's the way they are and they're an emotionally expressive person. Some of you, it's easy. You're a hugger anyways, and you hug everybody. It's not a big deal. Some of you, you're like, oh, I'm good. I'm not. No. No. But I'm not saying you need to hug people. What I am saying is that care makes an impact. And the hug is just a really easy way to illustrate how something very simple that communicates care can make an impact that is, in this case, literally permanent. The endorphins that just washed over your brain, you will never forget this time. Scientifically, like this will resonate. Now, for some of you, it's not a good one, right? It's an emotional experience. It's not a positive one. No, it's just the way our brains work. When we have an emotional experience, we don't forget about it. What are we doing for our teams? Key takeaway number 3. Loving your team will motivate you to acquire other skills associated with leadership. You don't have to be a skillless leader. I'm not suggesting that, love is all that matters. I know that's the song, love is all it takes, or love's all we need, or whatever it is. But when you do care about your people, that will motivate you to go do more. I think of a manager that reported to me one time. His name was Jared. I also inherited him. He was given no skills, no training. He was one of those people that got put in that situation where he got called in one day and said, "You're doing a great job. We're going to promote you. Go figure it out." And the poor guy didn't have any of the tools that you would want a frontline leader to have, but he went out and got them. He went out and did the best he could with what he had. And I was so proud of him. I got to mentor him for some time. He was the one that when I took over, the first thing I did when I took over that division was I brought everybody that reported to, actually I brought the whole division in eventually, but I brought everybody that was kind of directly there reporting to me, and I brought them in and just listened to their heart for a half hour. It wasn't for me to tell them my vision. It wasn't for me to tell, literally just, hey, what do you think? How do you feel? What's going through your mind right now? Obviously there's changes. Share with me. And I just listened to them. Listen to them talk for a half hour, maybe ask a couple questions. One of the things that I asked him was, what are your goals? What are you hoping to accomplish? And he said, I want your job within 3 years. I said, let's make it 2. I had the opportunity to mentor him. I had the opportunity to coach him. And I had the opportunity to have lunch with him 2 weeks ago. That young man, his passion for his people motivated him to go get the skills he needed, even though at that time, prior to me coming to his division, he did not have the support that he needed. He got put in that position by somebody who was more interested in getting rid of responsibility than empowering their people, and so that's why that kind of happened. But he tried. He did the best he could, and I came in and I was like, you've done really well with what you had. Let me get you to the next level. Let me do my part to elevate you and to help you grow. And so that is a great example. I loved his example. I will probably talk about him for the next 20 years because he was such a great example of someone that had no resources, no support, set up completely to fail. But because he cared about his people, he went and did what it took to go get the resources he needed. He would take online classes at night. He would read articles. He would just whatever he could to try to be the leader that he felt like he needed and could be. Final thoughts, there we are. All right. David, can you read the first? There's 2 quotes there in the same box.
You are what you believe yourself to be. We are who we believe we are.
What do we think? Who here believes they have the capacity to be a great leader? Excellent. Excellent. It's going to take work. Not going to be easy. But if you believe you can do it, you will do the work. And you can absolutely make that happen. Anybody have any thoughts about either of those quotes they want to share?
Belief seems like the key.
Yeah.
We may not be it right now, but as long as we believe we can get there.
Belief is going to motivate action. Action is we're going to. How many of you guys have heard the quote, or the? Technically, it's a quote, but. All right, let me see if I can remember it. Plant a thought, reap an action. Plant an action, reap a habit. Plant a habit, reap a character. Plant a character, reap a destiny. What we believe is going to have a lot to do with our thoughts, and it's going to be domino effect from there. James.
Create the highest, greatest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe.
Does that feel familiar? That was at the beginning of our time together as well. Oprah says that create that high vision. I had you close your eyes. What was that high vision? What do you want to leave? What's the legacy you want to leave? Hey, you might be in charge of a tiny little department. Those lives under your supervision are human beings. And I guarantee you that if you were in their shoes, you wouldn't care how small the department was, you would still want great leadership. William.
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
I believe that's Azrael's favorite quote, right? Or no, that was Richie's favorite quote. My bad. What's that? Henry Ford was? I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about his leadership style.
You should read about it.
Yeah. I know the most famous quote from him that I know is you can have whatever color car you want as long as it's black.
Yeah.
If you refuse to change, and
Yeah.
swimming.
Yeah. But do we agree with that? Do you agree with that quote? What we believe about ourselves is going to have a big impact. I like to say not this, but this idea to my wife if she's talking about something she can't do. I personally view can't as a dirty four-letter word. I don't think can't is actually real. I think that there are things I have not put enough time and energy into to learn how. But it's not that I can't, it's just I haven't been willing to discipline myself in that area.
Can't would never work.
Can't never work. So whether you believe it, she'll say I can't do it. I'll be like, well, I'm probably right. What? You don't think you can, you're not going to. Like that's up to you. Whether you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said that. Again, as a leader, there's so much opportunity that you have to make an impact. As you walk out of the room today, it sounds like the county has identified those of you sitting in this room as people that have a future that they want to invest in. I didn't know that walking in. When Chris said that to you guys, that was the first I heard of it. They asked me if I could show up today, and I said the 6th was open, so we can make that work. You have such a unique opportunity. You are going to make an impact. Based on our conversation here today, I'm pretty convinced it's going to be a positive one. There will be times where you will question your own abilities, because that's normal human nature. But let my words ring in your ears. You can do this. You are capable of being a great leader. You are what your team needs. And if you can believe that, if you can internalize that, if you can grab onto that, and then turn that into action, you can make a difference in their lives. And yes, I know it sounds crazy, but in so doing, you can change the world. Wrapping up. Leadership begins with love. When we love them, we engage with them in an empathetic and compassionate way. We're looking out for their best. That also is going to motivate us to gain the necessary skills to keep serving them well. And because we have the right heart, we can actually proceed with confidence. Not because we're perfect, not because we have all the answers, not because we've taken every class, not because we are even as good as we want to be, but because we know we're coming at it from the right perspective. Because we know we care enough to try. Because we know we desire to be the leader they deserve. And the rest falls into place because of that. Questions, comments, concerns, or complaints? Your make it happen. If you love your team, you want to improve, schedule time each day to improve as a leader. Literally 5 minutes a day is better than 0 minutes a day. That QR code is for the Servant Minded Leadership channel. Those videos, we put out a video every Tuesday that's like 3 to 7 minutes long, and then we put out a video every Friday, which is on the same topic, but it's like 30 to 90 seconds long, so it's a little more digestible. If you don't have to, but if you choose to subscribe, that right there will get you at least 2 days a week of just a little growth nugget that'll help you do something a little bit better, ideally, with your team. I wish I could tell you what this week's videos are about, but I don't remember. I do them in batches. So But yeah, that QR code is also in your book, so you don't have to scan it there. You don't have to use that. That's just an example. There's plenty of other resources. Somebody in here brought up John Maxwell. John Maxwell does a Minute with Maxwell every morning. He'll send it directly to your inbox, and it's usually like a 1 to 3 minute video on John Maxwell's thoughts. Most of the leadership guru people, organizations have something that they're putting out on a regular basis on social media or a newsletter or a web link or something. My way is not the way, it is a way. I just want to encourage you to use that passion for your people to grow. There are, of course, more resources on page 47, like there are always, including that personal investment assignment, which could be very valuable. And what we're going to do next, we're done with the book, but we're not quite done with our time together. I am finishing up as early as I can, though. You'll notice that we are about 20 minutes ahead of schedule right now. That is on purpose. I'm going to try to get you out of here a little early. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back at 3:45, and go back. Where's our little schedule? There it is. So we're going to come back at 3:45, which, as you can see, we're quite a bit ahead of schedule, and then we will do graduation. Unfortunately, because we did not have the names of everybody, we don't have certificates for you today, but I'm going to explain all of that, how certificates will work. We're going to take a group picture before we leave. I have forms for you to fill out that we have to have everybody do, and then there's some QR codes and things if you want to connect and stuff like that. So we're going to wrap all that up. We will be back here at 3:45, and I promise to have you out the door no later than 4:10 unless you want to stand around and talk. But I will be done at 4:10. So that's 20 minutes early. See you guys in 8 minutes.